Hey there, welcome back. Today, I'd like to play a little guessing game with you. This is inspired by a video from ASMR Eliza. I love her videos, and she did one a while back where she had a variety of objects and triggers, kind of like a show and tell, but rather than just showing them to you immediately, she gave you some clues first about what the object was so that you could guess. And I really enjoyed that video and found it very tingly. And I realized in the last show and tell video I did, my stocking stuffer video, if you watched that one, I had kind of started to do that, like without even realizing it. I was starting to give you little clues about the items before I brought them out. So I thought I would do that in a more organized fashion today. And also, somewhat inspired by Eliza, I am experimenting with this orangey light because it is very dark and dreary and rainy here today. You can probably hear the rain. So I just thought it would be fun to get cozy together and be a little extra glowy. You can let me know what you think of it. I'm sure I'm very reflecty in my glasses, but that can't be helped. But let's get into the items I brought with me today. And as always, I didn't choose an order for these, so I'll just choose one here. Okay, so the first thing that I have to show you is an object that is part of an animal. It's part of what might cover an animal. An animal that flies, and these items are considered quite beautiful. They can be quite colorful, and if you accomplish something, someone might say that you have one of these in your cap, meaning that you've really accomplished something to be proud of. So what do you think? Something that covers an animal that flies, it helps them to fly. What do you think? It is a feather. Can you see this beautiful feather? So this feather is kind of a wooden, I think it's wooden, a wooden bead charm that is on a necklace. So I will hold it up for you so you can see it. I am not a hypnotist, but perhaps you will get sleepy. Very sleepy. Try to make it go a little slower. Wow, that looks like it looks neat in the light. I hope that it does. But this feather has a little red area at the top, and then it is these lovely shades of brown. It's kind of painted on there. And then it also has this little bead hanging down, and this adorable little rabbit charm. Can you see the rabbit? Can you see the cute little rabbit? And it says on the rabbit, oh my goodness, it's in such tiny print to remember. Oh yes, I knew that the maker of this had a very cute name. It says Arty Smarty, Arty Smarty. I can't imagine you'll be able to see that, but maybe you can. I will show it to you. Arty Smarty. And I love this necklace because it is very light. The charm is very light. And the chain itself is very light. I used to do a lot of videos with jewelry, with my vintage jewelry collections and my earrings and my necklaces, and I haven't done that in a while. And I do like jewelry as a visual trigger. And I bought this necklace a few years ago in Dublin when I was in Ireland, and I spent some time in Dublin and some time in Cork, which is my favorite place in Ireland. So I can kind of comb my mic covers hair with this. And I bought this necklace at a really cool shop called the Jam Art Factory. And it's all full of art and prints and things like that. Jewelry from Irish artisans. So this was our first item. This little feather. I did think it might make some nice delicate sounds. Wooden feather tapping along with the rain. Okay, well, you did very well with that one. You did a very good job guessing. Okay, the next item that I have here for you to guess is actually a person, believe it or not. I do not have the actual person here with me. This is an image, a representation of this particular person. But this is a person who was alive in the 20th century, and he was a television personality who focused on children and education in his work, and he was very much one of the inspirations for my channel. He is one of the inspirations for my channel, even though this person is no longer living. And he was famous for referring to everyone as his neighbor, and wanted everyone to know that it was such a good feeling to be alive. He had a lot of good friends on his show, like Mr. McFeely and Chef Brockett and all the folks in the neighborhood of Make-Believe. And he went by his formal name in his television program, and that became his iconic moniker that he was known by throughout his career. So, do you have any guesses of who this person might be that I have with me here? Yes, it is Mr. Rogers. Yes, I have a little cardboard cutout depiction here of Fred Rogers holding King Friday the 13th, the puppet, who he voiced along with most of the other puppets in the neighborhood of Make-Believe. And this is actually a little card card, a little greeting card. You can see you can open up Mr. Rogers, and there's some text on the back about him, which we will look at. But one of my coworkers gave me this card many, many years ago because she knew how much I loved Mr. Rogers, and so it was on my bulletin board in my office at multiple jobs, and now it's here with me. So you can just watch Mr. Rogers if you would like as he moves back and forth and sends you some positive neighborly vibes. And I just thought this would be fun to share with you. I've been wanting to somehow incorporate Mr. Rogers into a video for some time, and just seemed like this was the right opportunity. So this card came from the Unemployed Philosophers Guild, which I've actually had some other Mr. Rogers merchandise from that company, so they must have like the rights to Mr. Rogers' image or something. My Mr. Rogers mug that I once had came from there as well. And it says on the back of here, Mr. Rogers, March 20th, 1928 to February 27th, 2003. Fred McFeely Rogers was an early television pioneer who created one of America's most celebrated children's programs. As a Presbyterian minister, composer, and host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on PBS, his lifelong studies in child development helped him address topics important to children and their families, dealing with feelings, building a foundation for learning, and handling new experiences. And it's pretty much impossible for me to think about or talk about Mr. Rogers at all without getting a little bit teary-eyed, because I just find him to be such an inspiring person. And I've said this many times that I think that, Mr. Rogers kind of invented personal attention via video. And I always think about that, and one of you brought that up in your comments on a video, that I do speak of Mr. Rogers because I try to, have his sort of calm, gentle spirit and presence in me when I am communicating with you, because I remember when I was a kid how soothing I found that. So you all know I think a lot of Mr. Rogers, and I thank him for being here with King Friday in our video today. So we will put Mr. Rogers down. You did very well guessing Mr. Rogers. The next thing that I have here to show you is, let me see, how should I describe it? It is an electronic device. It's in a little box. So I'll go ahead and tap on the box for you. This is an electronic device that one listens to music through via waves that are picked up in the air. This particular depiction of this object is in sort of an old-time style. Retro ones of these items can be very interesting and decorative to look at. And DJs often host and help you through the experience of using one of these devices. And you might have a different version of this in your car. Most people have more advanced ways of listening to music these days, but this old-fashioned way is still a good one. So do you have any ideas about what might be in this tiny box? That is something that plays music from the airwaves and has been around for quite a long time when it comes to the realm of listening to music, recorded music. What do you think? It's really interesting to try to give these clues, and I realize this is another way for me to do a show and tell that's a little bit different without overtly telling you. It feels like I'm on a game show, like the $10,000 pyramid, or was it the $100,000 pyramid? I don't remember the how much money pyramid it was, but that was a game show where you kind of had to give clues in sort of a backward sort of way. And now I'm distracting you, so what do you think? What do you think is in this box? Our musical listening device. Are you ready to see? And much like Mr. Rogers, this isn't exactly the real thing. I think you're getting the idea of this. It is a radio. Do you see my little radio? This is a brooch shaped like an old-time radio. And it's very shiny. I think it'll be nice and shiny in the light. It's made kind of like acrylic. Ooh, that's a nice sound. And I really love radios. We have a couple of vintage radios in our home that I really enjoy. And we do listen to music with them. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you my little radio. And if you just want to keep your eye on it, you can keep your eye on that little star on the radio and listen to the rain. Watch the star on the radio and listen to the rain. Yeah. It can be really soothing and nice just to have something to focus on. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, well, you did a great job guessing on the radio. This brooch is from a jewelry designer called Wilder. You can see their name there on the box. Here, I get the box. Give you a few box sounds there. They are an Australian company, and I actually bought this brooch in Scotland, and I have bought other brooches from them for friends. I got a friend one that is an old-timey camera because she likes cameras, and I got another friend one that is a mermaid. It's just a really neat collection of designs. If you ever want to look at them online, Wilder. So I will put our little radio, and I will show you the back for a full show and tell, so you can see the little pin on it, so you can pin it on. And I don't wear my brooches in videos as much as I should because I'm never sure if they will show. But I should make that a little bit more of a priority. Okay, lovely. Okay, I'm trying to move through these items maybe a little more quickly than I usually do, since I have a tendency to ramble on. The next item that I have, these are all so funny. The next item that I have is an animal. This is an animal that is often kept as a pet and is considered to be person's best friend. These animals are typically very friendly. They like to go on walks. They often like to lick you and want a lot of attention from you. I currently have one of these animals in my household who I love very much. She is spotted and has pointy ears, and you have met her in some of my videos. And I would say this is a very beloved animal by many people. What do you think? Do you have a guess? Do you have a guess? Yes, I have a dog. A dog, like my dog Hazel. Now this again is not your typical dog. This is a little dog who is wearing a sweater and is reading a book. And see if he might just want to hang out there. And I used him once before in a video, in a lying to you video, and I told you that this dog was my professor. And that was a fun video to do. So if you haven't watched those, I will link to them. I have a couple of lying to you videos that are just silly and a good time. So yes, so this dog is actually a bookmark. You can see he has a paper clip going up the back of his sweater. And so if you are very strategic, you can stick this down into a book and use it as a bookmark. I just have him sitting in one of my pencil cups because I think he is very cute and a good little mascot for my study area. So yes, I'm going to pet him here. Yes, scratch him behind the ear. Give our pup a scratch behind the ear here. Yes, and I just think, you know, the little sweater is very, very, very cute. It's got a nice pattern. His ear is kind of out there in a little jaunty angle. So, well done guessing the dog. Okay, next item. Next item we have is an item that you might have with you if it is dark outside and you want to make sure that you will be able to see. It is an item that you use when you want to get a good look at something and you want to see it in good light. And it is also something that is used, interestingly, as an ASMR trigger, often. And in some parts of the world, this is called a different word than what I'm thinking, and that word is the same word as what is carried in the Olympics when you have, something that has a flame coming out of the top of it. That is another word that can be used to describe this object. It is cylindrical in shape, this particular one is, and light emanates from one end of it, usually when you push a button on some part of this object. Do you know what it is? Well done. It's a flashlight. A little green flashlight here. And I don't do a lot of light triggers in my videos because I'm always nervous about doing them in a way that, won't be too much. And I mean, light can be pretty stimulating. But I do enjoy light triggers sometimes, especially from Abby ASMR and ASMR Eliza. So I'm going to experiment just a little bit with this. So if you do not like light triggers at all, please just close your eyes for the next couple of minutes and you can just listen to the sound of my voice. But I am going to turn on this light And because I have this other light going on, I really don't know what this is going to be like, but I'm going to try to do this light kind of around the edges. Yeah. And just kind of look here and inspect you a little bit. And again, if this is too bright, please just close your eyes. But I'm really interested in experimenting with light and how it can be relaxing. And interestingly, when I watch light trigger videos, I usually watch them during the day. So I'm not getting that like extra stimulation, but I do think that it can be very relaxing and a neat part of personal attention. So I really have no idea how bright this is, so I am just going to go across a couple of times. And again, if this is too much, that is okay. And then I'll go up and down a couple of times here. You can follow the light if that is relaxing to you. And then again, I'll just go in around the edges here. I'll get a little closer and see what that might be like. So you can tell me what you think. Okay? Okay. And I also do just like the clicky flashlight sound. That can be nice sometimes. Oh my goodness, this is so random. Okay, I have 3 more items for you. 3 more items for you. And the next 2 items are items from my bookshelf. So that's the first clue that I'm giving you. If you watch my videos regularly, you will have seen these 2 items behind me on my bookshelf before. And I've always wanted to do like a bookshelf tour and show you the stuff back there, but I kind of change it around a lot and I've never gotten to do that. So, the first bookshelf item I have has a cool sound. I'm going to give you a little preview of here. It is round. It is multicolored. And you might not have known that it is what it is because it doesn't make this sound until you shake it. And sometimes babies have this item because they like the way it sounds. What do you think? What do you think this is? It is a rattle. And it is technically a spirit ball, is what it is called. And I made this in ceramics class in college over 20 years ago. And how you make a spirit ball is that you make 2 half circles of clay. So you basically make 2 small bowls. And then you take little tiny pieces of clay, little tiny, and fold them up into little pieces of paper. I probably did like a dozen of those. You put them in the bottom half of the sphere, place your papers and your little pieces of clay, put the top sphere on top, adhere them together, with your slip, make them into a ball, and then when you fire it, those little pieces of paper inside burn up, and you're left with little pieces of hardened clay that serve as a rattle. And so if you didn't put the little pieces of paper, all the little pieces of clay would stick together and you just have one big lump. But using the paper gets you a rattle. So there's a teeny tiny little ceramics lesson for you. And I love this because I drew this cool pattern of people interlocking purple on it. And then I painted it with this lovely glaze, and I really love it. I think it's a beautiful piece of art. I'm very proud of it. And I like the sound. Didn't really try. A little tap as well. Okay, so that was the first item from my bookshelf, the rattle. And then the second item from my bookshelf is a character from a famous work of literature that many people are familiar with. And he is a very iconic character who has been spoofed in many ways and has inspired many tributes and spin-offs and different varieties of this story all throughout pop culture. He is a Shakespearean character, and he is known for communicating with spirits and ghosts, and for generally just, not having a very good time of things. And I have a little depiction of him on my bookshelf that you may have noticed. Do you know which character I am speaking of? Yes, it is Tiny Hamlet. I have this minifig of Hamlet. This is a Lego minifig, and you can see he's got his collar and his very thoughtful look there, and his skull as his accessory. And my husband used to have quite a large collection of Lego minifigs years ago, and then he decided to sell them, and we kept a select few, and this is one of the ones I decided to keep because I thought it was really, really funny. So you can follow Hamlet back and forth here on the screen. He's making an impassioned soliloquy, just you. He says, "Please relax," yes. Please relax. So I thought you just might have seen him on my bookshelf. He usually sits back here on this other little ceramic cube that I made in college. I really do want to do a video, a show and tell of all the ceramics that I made in college, because I actually have some really nice cool things, but Hamlet can just hang out up there now. Okay, so I have one more thing to show you, one more item for you to guess, and I really should have said at the beginning that some of these were items, but a lot of these were personalities and people. So the last person that I have here with me, that I have a depiction of for you, is a person that I know very well, and a person that all of you are getting to know as you watch this channel. This is someone who tries her best to bring positive, uplifting, light-filled content into the world for other people. This person loves plants and books and cooking. She wears green glasses and has long hair, and she really likes ASMR, and she has a fluffy pink mic cover. Do you know? Can you guess who this person is? Yes, this person is me, Devan. And this is a picture of me in the 3rd grade in 1988. It says so on the back of the picture. And I wanted to show this to you because in one of my recent videos, I was talking about doing my radio show when I was a kid, that I would record on a tape recorder. And I think this is about at the height of my radio show recording. This is also the phase of life when I wanted to be a dancer, if you had asked me what I was going to be when I grew up, I would have said a dancer, and I meant like some kind of modern dancer or dancing like in a show or on Broadway. I don't know if I had even thought it through that much, but I was taking dance lessons at the time, and I loved to dance. And I don't know, I just feel like this was a time when my creative spirit was so strong. I mean, look at this outfit. I mean, it's just adorable. My jean jacket and my little clip in the side of my hair and my sparkly shirt. And I just wanted to share this with you all. And I keep this picture tacked up on my bulletin board so that I can see it often. And I actually took a picture of it, took a screenshot of it, and I have it as a background on my phone. And I've had that as a while. I've had that as my background for a while. And I told one of my friends that I keep this picture up and I look at it and I have it on my phone now because it reminds me to be nice to myself. Because anytime I'm, having an instinct to be harsh on myself or to just, be meaner than I need to be, I try to remember that this is Devan too, that little Devan is still in there, and we all have our little version of ourselves that lives inside us. And, it's important for us to be adults and be responsible and live our adult lives. But it's also important not to forget about, the little versions of ourselves that are still present. And that's actually another one of my favorite Mr. Rogers quotes. There are many quotations attributed to him, and I mean, who knows if he really said them all, but one that I've always heard is, "The child is in me still, and sometimes not so still." And I think that's true, that sometimes the child in us can come out, usually when there's some important message that they need to give to us. So I don't know if you guessed little Devan, but thank you for playing along. Here, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but do I still look the same? WDEVAN, and that is actually absolutely what I said on my radio show. My name or my call letters. Oh yeah. Okay, well, I hope that this little hangout guessing game was relaxing to you. Thank you for being here with current Devan and little Devan. I'll put little Devan down over here. This was really fun. I always enjoy spending time with you, and I just hope that I can help you relax and wind down your mind a little bit and just feel a little more settled and grounded wherever you are. So take good care of yourself, rest well, and I'll see you again soon.